Paltrocast.
Barry, as I was telling Lee, I love the Decades Rock concept. Without you guys, there would be no Alice in Chains the way that we know them now.
Well,
And
you've done your research.
Hey, that's what happened. And the Pretenders episode where we see the Pretenders with Brandon from Incubus, you go, oh, that collaboration works out perfectly. The Doors one, I think you made a lot of people love the Doors who weren't Doors fans, etc. Now, when did you or your team have the idea of Chicago would be perfect for this?
That idea came to me quite some time ago, and when the original series actually was airing back over a decade ago, no pun intended. And I think a lot of this is timing, and all the moons would seem to be lined up. Here we are a decade later. I had a relationship with the tour manager, Steve Rumbach, and Steve and I kind of had discussing. He had a great time. Actually, Steve was a part of the Elvis Costello and Friends Decade show where we had Fiona Apple. Steve
and
was
Death Cab for Cutie.
And Death Cab for Cutie, good one.
And Joe from Green Day.
That's very good. And we, Steve was working as Fiona's manager at the time, and over at Irving Azoff in camp. And he had an amazing experience. As you remember that show, that was pretty phenomenal Decade show. So we started discussions, and that kind of led me to, hey, wait a minute, isn't the 55th anniversary of your debut album, Chicago Transit Authority, this year, 2023? And He goes, I think you're right. And I said, well, have you guys been making any plans or talking about it? And he said, well, you should speak to Peter about it, Peter manager, Schiaparelli. So Peter and I spoke, and there was, to his surprise, I told him that it was the 55th anniversary of the Chicago Transit Authority debut album. Do you have any plans? And his response was, oh, is it the 55th anniversary? He goes, because we have so much going on with the band. And he was not aware of that. So I said, well, wouldn't it be a great time to produce a Chicago and Friends concert film celebrating the 55 years of that debut album, along with the other decades of Chicago, and loved the idea. So that's when the real discussions happened, I guess about a year ago now. And that's when we entered into a new contract with Ocean Resort in Atlantic City to produce new Decade shows. First being Chicago, which we're incredibly happy with. We've tapped into just a treasure trove of amazing songs. What's interesting with me and my history with Chicago is I grew up listening to Chicago, growing up in North Brunswick, New Jersey. I have an older brother who is an amazing guitar player. His influence early on from my childhood years was Terry Kath. So I was spoon-fed Chicago Transit Authority album, live at Carnegie Hall. I remember those albums playing in my home as early as 6, 7 years old. And my brother learning every Terry Kath lick that existed. And as a cover band being around, everybody was playing those songs. They were playing 25 or 6 to 4, South California Purples. Oh my God, the list goes on and on and on. So what was interesting was knowing, we wanted to feature special guests that represent various songs. There's a lot of different vocal styles in Chicago. There's the soulful Terry vocals that you hear on the earlier Chicago. We wanted to make sure we had a guest that can come in and cover those vocals, as well as the amazing guitar parts that guitar guy Terry Kath created. And that's when we kind of reached out to Robert Randolph, Steve Vai, and Christone Kingfish, who will all be performing on the Chicago and Friends tribute show.
We actually started out with 3 guest artists, and now we're up to 7. So
yeah, we started at 3, and then we have different various vocals, and you have the rock vocals, you have the Peter Cetera style vocals, you have the lower vocal ranges. So we wanted to make sure we had a few different great guests who represent that. And we brought in Robin Thicke, who has that great soulful voice and who has performed with Chicago in the past on the Grammys. There was a prior relationship there, so Robin was really excited and happy to be a part of this. And then we also had Chris Daughtry. I'm a huge Daughtry fan. He's got one of the best rock vocal tones out there, and he's again was influenced by Chicago, loved to be a part of this. And Judith Hill, who has a great soulful voice. Of course, we wanted to bring in a great female who can cover and who could represent Chicago, and so she's going to be coming in doing some really cool vocals on. I think she's doing "Color My World" along with Lee. I think they're doing a duet, and I believe. And
I think Barry's going to stand outside the ocean and see if anybody else wants to come in and sit in too.
Yeah, we kind of so we casted a pretty wide net. We also have this incredible vocal group, and this is what's exciting to me is we have a group coming in called Voice Play. They're an a cappella vocal group. They have a huge fan base. They're very internet, social media savvy, and they're incredibly talented group out of Florida. And we are doing a very cool unplugged campfire segment in the show. And there's certain Chicago songs. There's certain Chicago songs that the band hasn't performed in quite a few years. A couple of nuggets were Happy Man. I said, wouldn't it be great to do a cool acoustic version, unplugged Happy Man, Wishing You Were Here, which the band hasn't performed in quite a few years. He said that would be challenging to me because if you recall, or a little trivia fact is that if you listen to the original studio version of Wishing You Were Here, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but you hear this amazing vocal background harmonies, and those harmonies that you're listening to are the Beach Boys. And I was not aware of that. See that? Which was interesting. So I thought what Lee was trying to tell me, we're not bringing in the Beach Boys. So how are you gonna handle that, Barry? And that's when it really made sense to bring in this vocal group. So they'll be doing a new arrangement of Wishing You Were Here, backed by Chicago, unplugged. They'll be doing, as I said, Happy Man, If You Leave Me Now, and Look Away, a whole new arrangement of Look Away. And we've been going back and forth with the group, with Lee. The new arrangements, they sound fresh, they're amazing, and it's going to be a very cool segment in the show, and we're looking forward to showcasing them, Voice Play, along with Chicago, and some songs that fans haven't heard in many years. So I think the fans will be really excited when they hear some obscure things, along with from the album Chicago Transit Authority. We tried to pick out a few what we're calling the best of Chicago Transit Authority. Some songs don't make sense to perform live, like a 7-minute song just doesn't jive in this day and age when you have such a short attention span audience.
Unless you have a great light show. If you have a light show and a video package and a person going, come on, clap your hands, you could squeeze out an extra 3 minutes from that.
That could be. But we also live in the short attention span world now, and everybody consumes content for 3 minutes at a time. So what we did was we did shorten some of the songs. We will be featuring Poem 58, which is featured on the original Chicago Transit Authority album, with an amazing solo that will be performed by Steve Vai. I've convinced the guys, it took a little convincing, to reignite South California Purples. At the very least,
you're going to give away the whole show? Come on.
I can give away just a couple of highlights that you can look forward to. Everything else will keep as a surprise when you get there. And there will be a lot of surprises. All new content created, visuals for this entire show. This is not a typical touring Chicago show. The set list that the band will be performing was curated specifically for this film that we're producing. So it does feature the best of Chicago Transit Authority, and of course the Chicago's greatest hits over 4 other decades. And it's going to be pretty special. We're looking forward to it.
Last question for you both, because you've given me so much great information here, and hopefully we get the support of the hotel on this one. Is there a restaurant inside Ocean City Casino that you're going, I cannot wait to get to that restaurant? Is there anything like that on your mind?
It's Ocean Resort, not Ocean City. It's Ocean Resort.
You're
And
correct. People
they
make
do-
mistakes.
and just to clarify, and Nola's, I believe there's a restaurant called Nola's in there that I've actually had an amazing meal at that I'm looking forward to.
So they have a theme song, Nola, right?
Good.
Yeah, that's the
If
case.
not, you said before, Lee, that you want Chicago to score film and television projects. So
That'd be
you
nice.
might be able to enter with a jingle for Nola's, and then
Yeah,
the
right.
happens. So for you, Lee, is there a restaurant, or are you at the point of your career where you go, just give me the buyout and I'll wait for the food later?
I'm just worried about the show. I'm only worried about what's in front of me and trying to make it as good as possible. That's my calling. And food will be there somewhere, and I will eat some of it.
I promise you, it's on the tech rider.
Yeah,
It'll
right.
be there.
Yeah, we have M&Ms.
There you go.
No brown M&Ms though, right?
Yeah,
Just like
right,
Van
right.
Halen said. No
That
brown
was Van Halen, right?
Paltrocast.